Have you ever wondered what's quietly draining your peace without you even noticing? What if the biggest obstacles to your happiness weren't out there in the world, but right inside your own mind? And here's the real twist. What if letting go silently and with grace is more powerful than any confrontation? Marcus Aurelius once said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." That single line, though ancient, is a thunderous call to action today. In a world brimming with noise, demands, and unspoken expectations, clarity doesn't come from doing more, but from removing what no longer serves you. This video is more than just a list. It's an invitation, an introspective journey into self-awareness, dignity, and inner strength. As we walk together through the 11 things you need to quietly let go of, you'll discover not just wisdom from the Stoics, but a mirror held up to your daily life. We encourage you not to just watch but reflect. Which of these truths speak to you most? Stay with us until the end, because what starts as understanding may very well become transformation. Explaining yourself to those who cause you pain. When someone you once trusted, perhaps even cherished, turns around and wounds you, the instinct is to explain, to make them see your side, to make them understand the hurt they caused. But here's the truth, you owe them nothing. You don't need to craft a perfect monologue, stage a grand confrontation, or exhaust yourself trying to make sense of their betrayal. Sometimes the wisest move is the quietest one. Simply walk away. Not for vengeance, not for pride, but for peace. If they come back someday, asking for your time, your help, or your energy, remember, you have the right to say no. A soft, firm no, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. There's profound dignity in knowing where to draw the line. You are not required to patch the holes they tore in your trust. Let the distance speak. Let silence be your answer. As time unfolds, it will reveal the true weight of their actions far more eloquently than words ever could. In the meantime, nurture yourself. Tend to the garden of your own peace. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." So don't retaliate, don't shrink. Instead, expand into the most grounded, serene, and resilient version of yourself. That's where real strength lies. 2. Unnecessary goals. In a world obsessed with achievements, it's easy to set goals simply because they sound impressive or because others expect them of us. But the Stoic path calls for clarity, not applause. Life is too short to chase goals that no longer reflect your authentic self. When a dream or target starts to feel more like a burden than a purpose, it's time to reevaluate. Letting go of a goal isn't failure, it's wisdom. It's pruning the branches so your tree can grow stronger and more aligned. But here's where it gets subtle. You don't need to announce these changes. You don't have to justify why you're shifting directions or abandoning certain pursuits. Privacy is power. The more quietly you make your moves, the more peace you preserve. Let your actions speak. Let your growth unfold without commentary. Adapt as life evolves, but always anchor yourself to your core values. Remember, it's not about doing what looks good. It's about doing what feels right deep down. And often the quietest decisions are the most powerful. As we continue this path of self-liberation, the next steps will dive deeper, not just into what we do, but how we think. If you're ready to explore the inner patterns that truly shape your life, join us in page 2, where the journey sharpens and the light gets brighter. Previously, we reflected on the quiet power of walking away from pain, re-evaluating goals, and protecting the sanctity of our inner world. As we continue, the path of quiet strength winds deeper into the subtle habits that erode our peace, the words we speak, the anger we unleash, the comparisons we make. With every step, we gain clarity, not by adding more noise, but by cutting Through it, this approach not only simplifies our journey, it protects its integrity. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most celebrated voices, once wrote, "It is not that we have so little time, but that we lose so much. We are not ill provided, but use what we have wastefully." His words ring true today. We are not victims of a short life, but often of a distracted one. Our task is simple but profound, to focus on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. 3. Oversharing the end of relationships. When a friendship or romantic relationship ends, the temptation to vent or explain it to others can be overwhelming. You might feel the urge to lay out every detail, what they did wrong, what you felt, why it ended. But oversharing in such moments doesn't bring peace. It brings noise. It disrespects the intimacy once shared and opens the door to gossip, misinterpretation, and emotional mess. Instead, turn inward. Let reflection replace reaction. There's a kind of quiet power in holding sacred what was once shared, even if it's over. It doesn't mean you're hiding the truth. It means you're choosing healing over attention. If the urge to talk about it persists, ask yourself, is it truly to heal or to be heard? Use that energy instead to journal, to meditate, to process. Not all feelings need a stage, sometimes they just need space. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Nowhere is this wisdom more essential than in the dissolution of personal ties. Guard your peace, guard theirs too. 4. Raising. Your voice in front of others. We've all had that moment. Your blood boils, frustration bubbles up, and before you know it, your voice rises in a meeting or a conversation. But consider this. What if the real power lay not in shouting to be heard, but in lowering your tone to stay in control? Anger tempts us to explode, but calmness, real, intentional calmness, isn't weakness. It's restraint. Think of the people who've stayed composed under pressure. Weren't they the ones who earned your respect the most? Their calm didn't erase their fire, it redirected it. When we speak softly in chaos, we do something rare. We lead. We show strength that doesn't rely on volume. Heraclitus once said, "To be even-minded is the greatest virtue." And in the storm of conflict, being even-minded is more than a virtue. It's a stabilizing force. So the next time you're tempted to yell, pause, breathe, let your words be anchors, not arrows. Turn heat into light. That's how you become the lighthouse when others are lost at sea. 5. Spreading negative opinions about others. Now imagine this. Someone walks into the room and immediately begins criticizing someone else. What runs through your mind? Curiosity or caution? Because if they're speaking this way about someone else, what might they say about you when you're gone? Speaking negatively about others doesn't just harm them, it stains you. The words we say about others often reflect more about our own insecurities than their shortcomings, and once spoken, those words stick. They linger in the air and settle on our character. Instead, choose a different path. Recognize that everyone is fighting battles we can't see. When irritation arises, ask, what might they be going through that I don't understand? That shift, from judgment to curiosity, is powerful. It's not about pretending everyone's perfect. It's about choosing to be someone others can trust, someone who uplifts rather than undermines. Be the person who speaks less about others and more with understanding. 6. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a thief. It sneaks into your thoughts and quietly steals your joy. It makes you believe that you are behind, lacking, or less than, simply because someone else seems ahead. Every scroll through social media, every look across the room at someone who seems more successful, more beautiful, more confident. It chips away at your self-worth if you're not grounded in your own path. But here's the truth. Their timeline is not your timeline. Their chapter 20 doesn't make your chapter 3 any less meaningful. You are not late. You are not lost. You are on a journey uniquely yours. When you compare yourself, you forget your own depth. You forget the things that make your story rich and irreplaceable. You're not here to be a copy of anyone. You're here to be the fullest version of yourself. So step off the treadmill of comparison, catch your breath, look within. You're not in a race, you're in a life. And your life, with all its nuance and mess and beauty, deserves to be lived on your own terms. Each of these quiet cuts, from refraining to explain, to not oversharing, to mastering your tone, to choosing empathy over gossip and stepping out of comparison, creates space. Space for clarity, space for strength. And as we move forward, the next page will guide us deeper still, into the habits we keep, the company we choose, and the invisible burdens we no longer need to carry. Shall we keep going? In the earlier reflections, we've stepped away from comparison and judgment, embraced the quiet dignity of self-direction, and discovered strength in calmness and discretion. Now we venture into the deeper emotional terrain, unpacking perfectionism, unrealistic expectations, the craving for validation, and the way we handle our digital lives. This is where we sharpen the inner tools of resilience and rewrite the story of how we show up for ourselves. Flip the script. Imagine for a moment that instead of hiding your quirks, smoothing over your mistakes, or downplaying your smallest victories, you celebrated them, loudly, boldly. What if the parts of you thought needed fixing were, in fact, the most beautiful threads in your unique tapestry? This isn't about tuning out the world. It's about tuning into your raw, unscripted life. You see, life isn't some flawless production with everyone reading from a neatly polished script. It's erratic, it's vulnerable, and it's dazzling in its unpredictability. Each of us walks a path full of stumbles and triumphs, heartbreaks and homecomings. Your story, with all its detours and unexpected turns, is not a sign of failure. It's proof that you're still here, navigating, learning, surviving. When you own your story instead of editing it for someone else's comfort, you do more than just move forward. You set a new course, a path built on self-honesty, resilience, and inner power. As Epictetus once said, control your perceptions, direct your actions properly, willingly accept what's outside your control. This is not resignation, it is radical empowerment. 7. Mindless use of social media. Let's take a hard look at one of the quietest yet most pervasive thieves of joy: mindless scrolling. Social media is a beautifully deceptive space, offering us glimpses into everyone's highlight reels while we sit in the bloopers of our own lives. When we consume these curated snapshots day after day, we begin to feel less successful, less attractive, less joyful. But the truth is, your life is not lacking. You're simply seeing it through a distorted lens. So how do we reclaim our perspective? Start by using social media as a tool, not a trap. Approach it intentionally. Carve out designated windows, perhaps a 15-minute scroll with morning coffee or a quick update after work. Let it be a source of inspiration or connection, not comparison. Pause before each interaction and ask, is this lifting me up or pulling me away from myself? If the answer leans toward distraction or depletion, step back. Take a weekend off. Use that space to write, call an old friend, or simply sit with your thoughts. Let silence become more familiar than noise. By inserting mindfulness between the trigger and the tap, you begin to rebuild your relationship with your own narrative, one that values presence over performance and depth over display. 8. The pursuit of external validation. Now picture yourself standing beneath a spotlight, a sea of faces watching your every move. Each laugh, glance, and gesture crafted to please them. That's what the pursuit of external validation feels like, a relentless audition for approval that may never come. But what if you stepped out of the spotlight and into your own light? What if the only voice that mattered was your own, calm, centered, unwavering? When we chase validation, we abandon authenticity. We dress for others, speak for others, dream for others. And in doing so, we lose touch with the one person we truly need to impress: ourselves. To unlearn this habit, begin by questioning your motives. Before making a decision or sharing a post, ask, am I doing this for me or to be seen? Reclaim your yes and no without apology. Speak with conviction, not rehearsal. Wear what feels right. Work in the rhythm that suits you. Surround yourself with people who honor your truth, who don't need you to shrink or twist yourself into palatable shapes. Authenticity is a magnet for genuine connection, and when you walk in your own truth, those meant for you will rise to meet you. 9. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is an illusion dressed in ambition's clothing. See, it whispers, you're almost there, just a little better, a little cleaner, a little more polished. But no matter how much you accomplish, it always raises the bar, always finds another flaw. The Stoics remind us, progress, not perfection. We must remember that perfection is not the goal, presence is. And the more you cling to flawless outcomes, the more you miss the messy beauty of becoming. Let go of the idea that you must always get it right. Replace it with a gentler belief. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to trip, to stumble, to begin again, because every so-called flaw is a foothold for growth. Start redefining success. Make it about the effort you give, not the image you portray. Let your goals reflect your values, not your need for praise. Let your work be alive with trial and iteration. Show your cracks. They're what let the light in. 10. Holding on to unrealistic expectations. We enter life with dreams that gleam like stars, but sometimes we chase them so blindly that we forget to check if they're even real. Unrealistic expectations can become the chains that bind us, heavy, shiny, deceptive. Maybe you expected your job to complete you, your relationship to heal you, your timeline to unfold exactly as planned. And when it didn't, you felt betrayed. But what if the betrayal wasn't in reality, but in the dream that ignored it? To move forward, you must release the illusion. Begin with ruthless honesty. Which dreams are truly yours and which were handed to you by society, family, or fear? Let go of should. Embrace is. Create goals that breathe with your current self. Let your ambition be grounded in reality, not fantasy. When you stop demanding perfection from yourself and others, you start discovering the quiet wonder of things as they are, raw, rich, real. It won't be clean or easy, but it will be honest, and that honesty will free you from resentment, comparison, and the crushing weight of unmet ideals. 11. Gossiping. There's a quiet poison in gossip. It sneaks into conversations masked as bonding or humor, but what it truly does is erode trust, both in others and in ourselves. The next time you're tempted to join in, pause. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to be on the other side of this conversation? Would you want your worst moments analyzed over coffee? Words matter. They plant seeds. And when we speak with cruelty or carelessness, we sow disconnection. But when we choose kindness even in the silence of restraint, we build bridges. Challenge yourself to change the subject, to offer a different perspective, to defend the absent. It's not easy. It's often uncomfortable, but it is powerful. Because by refusing to gossip, you're not just protecting others, you're preserving your own integrity. Every time you choose discretion over drama, You show the world and yourself that you're committed to being better, not bitter. These shifts, stepping away from social media's illusions, breaking free from the crowd's applause, laying down the heavy cloak of perfection, and honoring others in their absence, aren't just lifestyle changes. They're transformations. They ask you to stand alone, to speak softly in a shouting world, to love yourself with the same devotion you offer others, and in doing so, to become someone grounded, someone unshakable. This isn't the end of your journey, it's a turning point. From this page forward, the rules are yours to write. Are you ready? In the end, what do we truly gain when we quietly cut these 11 things from our lives? Not emptiness, but clarity. Not isolation, but wholeness. Each point we've explored isn't just a list item, it's a door, a passageway leading you inward toward the life that has been waiting beneath the noise. When we stop explaining ourselves to those who harm us, we reclaim our dignity. We step off the emotional battlefield and choose peace over performance. We no longer feel compelled to justify our pain or our distance. In doing so, we let time and integrity speak louder than words ever could. When we release goals that no longer serve us, we stop living for imaginary versions of ourselves. We unshackle our time, our energy, our soul. We begin to live with intention, not obligation. It's a quiet rebellion, a sacred choosing of what truly matters. By not oversharing the messy details of relationships gone wrong, we practice reverence, for ourselves, for others, and for the invisible bonds that once meant something. We begin to heal in silence, in dignity, without letting the world pick through the ruins of something they never helped build. Raising our voice in anger may feel momentarily powerful, but choosing calm under fire? That's mastery, that's alchemy. We transform heat into healing, rage into resolve. The quieter we become, the more we hear. And often, the voice that emerges in that silence is our own, steady, strong, and wise. Gossip, comparison, perfectionism, they all tempt us with fleeting illusions. That if we just say the right thing, look the right way, perform just a bit better, then we will finally belong. But in truth, these habits only create more distance between us and our inner freedom. By letting them go, we stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing ourselves. When we abandon the relentless pursuit of external validation, something remarkable happens. We begin to trust ourselves. We return to the quiet rhythm of our own heartbeat. We no longer chase applause. We listen for alignment, and in that space we build a life that is ours, unapologetically, unconditionally ours. Mindless scrolling numbs us. It drains the sacred attention that could be used to create, to connect, to care. When we bring awareness to our digital habits, we anchor ourselves in the real, the touchable, the present. We begin to live from the inside out, not the outside in. Perfectionism, that smooth-talking thief, promises excellence but delivers anxiety. When we let it go, we don't become lazy, we become real. We begin to craft our lives like artists, not machines. We trade flawlessness for fullness. Completion for connection. Unrealistic expectations often wear the mask of ambition, but beneath it lies exhaustion. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means waking up. Waking up to what is possible, what is joyful, what is enough. And finally, steering away from gossip means choosing love even when it's hard. It means recognizing our shared humanity. That everyone, yes, everyone, is carrying burdens we cannot see. And when we meet them with curiosity instead of cruelty, we make this world a softer place to land. All these principles point to one thing: self-mastery. The kind that doesn't scream or demand attention, but whispers quietly and carries immeasurable power. It's the mastery of the moment, of presence, of choosing again and again to live with intention. This is not a journey of becoming someone. 2. It's the shedding of what never belonged to you, the habits, the noise, the illusions. What's left when it's all stripped away is the real you, capable, calm, courageous. So what will you quietly cut from your life today? What no longer serves your peace? What distractions have outlived their purpose? Ask yourself, listen honestly, and take one brave small step. This is your life. Sculpt it with clarity, shape it with compassion, live it with presence, because the quietest choices are often the most revolutionary. And now, close your eyes, take a breath and walk boldly forward. Your next chapter has already begun. Thank you for walking this path with us. If this journey resonated with you, leave a comment, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more insights. And remember, you don't have to shout to be strong. Sometimes the softest voice, your own, is the one that changes everything.